What's up, guys? This is Jakob. I'm content AI manager and I'm helping entrepreneurs all around the world with content marketing. I'm using AI tools in order to create content for entrepreneurs. And welcome to a new episode of Web3 live show where I speak with entrepreneurs, with content creators, with investors who are within the Web3 area. So who are in charge of the metaverse, who are speaking and working within with NFTs and topics like this. And today I'm very excited to speak with Igor Tasic, who's the founder of Metaventures. This is a metaverse-first advisory and launchpad space for creatives, entrepreneurs, and inventors. Very excited to speak with you, and welcome to the show, Igor.
Thank you, Jakob. Thank you for having me, and thank you for putting this type of content in the world. I think there is so much noise in every space, and especially in this space. I think doing this work of curation is very much needed. I feel like I'm a creator too, so it's great to be in touch with like-minded people.
Yes, absolutely. So we had a short chat before we went live, and we already figured out topics that are really interesting, and I would really love to deepen these topics. But before we dive into the area of Web3, can you introduce yourself? So who are you, and why are you within this space?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. I usually don't even like to introduce much myself, but I've been an entrepreneur for life, But before that, I used to be a strategy consultant, so I worked for the strategy consulting firms as an executive. But eventually, I started my businesses. I always was very curious about how entrepreneurs got started. So it was the focus of my master's degree, my PhD, and then being an entrepreneur myself, I always realized that it's easier than most people think, and it's harder than most people think in other ways. So and throughout my businesses, I realized that people start with three basic things: who they are, what they know, and whom they know. And so I try to apply this myself throughout my career. So maybe the thing that got me to this space was something that I started back in 2015 called Startup Europe Week, that eventually became was an event supported by many organisms around the world, but in Europe with the European Commission, that eventually became the largest regional entrepreneurship event in the world. So we did in more than 50 countries and more than 350 cities, and basically to support regional entrepreneurs to start their business, to start whatever venture they want to do, whatever they were. And that was back in 2015, prior to COVID. And that taught me a lot about the power of communities, the power of micro communities, how actually, because we think about, to get started, especially now with this noise of a lot of money, people raising millions as seed capital. And I realized that, it's not different from starting a bakery. And usually when you are an entrepreneur and you start a bakery, you start in your village, you start in your small city, you sell to your neighbor. So your first client, the one who defines your business, is your neighbor. And that, doing Startup Europe Week, with talking to entrepreneurs from all over the world, from Mexico to China, from Nigeria to Finland, I realized that every entrepreneur is the same everywhere in the world, as long as they are connected to this very small geographic community or like-minded people. And that was prior to COVID. So that was over physical events. People had to get together. But then, because of my work in strategy and also technology, I've always been working with cybersecurity, machine learning for the last 10 years, and exploring VR, AR over the last decade. I start to realize that people are really not optimizing the power of the internet, and then with COVID, I think that everything started to converge. So this idea of not being able to be physically in a place, but still being able to be very productive and work by yourself, if the type of work you do allow you to do that behind a screen or over a phone. That naturally brought me to this space. And then the metaverse, before the metaverse, was kind of a natural thing for me. So long answer to a short question.
Yeah. Okay. Already love it. So, and I mean, you already mentioned the metaverse. So, what is it for you? Or no? When was the first time that you heard about the metaverse and you thought, okay, that sounds interesting? Or what was your thinking when you heard the first time about the metaverse?
Wow. I mean, and that this is the only mention I'm going to do to sci-fi now, and then I'm not going to do any mention anymore. But that started back in June 1999 when I watched The Matrix. So that
really?
was.
But are they mentioning this expression of metaverse?
No, not the metaverse as an expression, no, but this idea of having this hybrid reality, where it really where the digital and the physical confound, and it doesn't make actually even difference or sense that you differentiate it. I think it's always been the back of my mind of since the first .com boom, that the internet was something was really great. I remember going to Yahoo forums and chats and talking to people from all over the world. As long as I could speak broken English, it was enough to connect with people from all over the world. And eventually, then we moved to social network. And before Facebook, there was this thing called Orkut that I used to use a lot. That was from a former Google employee. But this idea of the metaverse and the word, I think maybe itself, I heard over this decade. But I care less about the concept of people trying to conceptualize it and more about the actual idea that it goes to thousands of years. To be honest, I think as humans, we've always been drawn to this idea of a simulation, but not a simulation from escape. But art is the ultimate simulation. History. When you write something, when you read a book, you're just expressing yourself in another way. The digital is just another way. And I feel that so many people get confused, or they feel that it's not natural. I want to live I don't want to live with glasses on. No, me neither. I think none of us. But the thing is, if we can expand our potential, if we can empower ourselves in a way that just technology allows, this is fantastic. So that's, I think, over the last 20 years, Jacob, to be honest, this concept of the metaverse has been with me. And I think now for the first time, we have the infrastructure in place. I remember working for a data center back in 2003, and to host a website, it used to cost like $5,000. So you have to raise venture capital money to host a website, $5,000 a month. There was no such a concept of cloud. I remember we had this co-location of services, of servers that in the same server, you would have like 4 or 5 web pages. And that was new. Then AWS came in 2006 with an idea of a cloud. So now we have the infrastructure for the internet, and now we have the devices for VR, AR, XR. And the most important thing, a mindset, a digital mindset, something that you and I are doing. I don't know where you're calling from. You don't know where I'm calling from. It doesn't matter, because we are right here, right now in this space that the fact that we are natural about it, that people that are watching us are natural about it. This is unique in the history of humankind. And this is actually what's the most important thing for the metaverse to succeed, or for people to just to accept this is a natural thing. Not, for me to talk to you, we have to travel and meet in a hotel lobby. And okay, that's an option. That's an option. Yeah. But if you have other 1,000 things to do in your life, and this is just one of those, maybe this is the most productive option. And then if you decide to meet personally, we're going to do something else. I don't know. We're going to play bowling. I don't know. We're going to do something that is not this.
Yeah. Okay, it's interesting because my remembering of Web 1 and Web 2. So I remember Web 2 more than Web 1 because I was just a young guy. I was in primary school. Can you maybe describe a little bit the differences, especially when it comes to the transition from Web 2 to Web 3? So what are the main differences, or what are they going to be the main differences that people are actually feel in their lives? What do you think?
Yeah, I think like if you go back to starting with Web 1, I mean, even this concept, I mean, we can talk about the Web 1, 2, or 3, but it's more important not the concept itself. I think it's this transition, as you mentioned. Right? I remember back then, 1.0 is the idea of connection. So you came from a true analog world to a true connected world. So connecting to the internet using a fax modem at the time was that sound of a fax modem connecting was such a great thing, you know. And then we had these things called ICQ, and then you had this, as I said, then you had Netscape, you had a browser. So connecting was something great. Then going to Web 2, I remember I was in business school at Columbia, New York, back in 2006, and I remember having this class with user-generated content. So people were teaching marketing, and I said, "Oh, look, they have this website, this great website called YouTube.com, and they had 1 million videos on this website called YouTube.com." I said, "Well, that's great, 1 million videos." Yeah. And then back in 2006, the big thing was, "Oh, you know what? The big thing will be this: people will start to create stuff and then put on the internet." Then 2000, I remember going to San Francisco in 2010, 2011, and then people were just posting these pictures and the photos with filters. I thought, "Oh, great!" So this is a diversity of things that is just not. So it's the expansion. So if in the beginning it was about just this 4 or 5 media outlets giving you content, now with this new version, that people with something to give and something to say, they are gonna be able to do it in a hassle-free, easy environment. Now, I think we went to the other side of the pendulum, right? Because very few people had the ability to, or very few companies had the ability to give content. Then everybody started to give content, and now we have to a point that everybody thinks they have something to contribute all the time. And I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I think it's better than worse. But when you have so much content, you start to lose the focus of what is really important for you, and then you start to get lost into such an amount of noise, as I mentioned in the beginning of the program. That's important that people like you curate the content so we can actually focus on the right thing. So I think this new thing will be about not going back, but it's going to be about this curation, this focus on the things that really matters to me, and then I deep dive with huge dangers. We know that, especially if it's powered by algorithms and AI, which is already, I think we already passed the point where the machines is more intelligent than me. I think we are already there for many reasons. So if now I focus on the things that I care most, and then I have the ability to connect with the people that I care most, and then I'm going to create content around it and a whole community around it. So the internet is going to be more truly community-based, but at the same time, I think it's going to be more truly global for the first time, but at the same time, this decentralization could be not dangerous, but it could be that people could start to miss something in other communities. So because you want to be so close to your own community, you stop listening to what's happening in the other community. But I think, again, that's the beauty of this idea of the metaverse, because then we can all converge back in one space or several spaces, and truly, and this is something that to me is the thing that I care the most, which is new ways of working and new ways of learning in a super more effective way. For the first time, I think people, it doesn't matter where they come from, where they are, who they are, they will be able to have their value at a truly global standard. I know it sounds utopian. We are recording this in 2022, but I have my kids. I have 2 kids, 8 and 10. I think by the time they are my age, this will be so obvious. That someone calling or working from Pakistan or Brazil or Spain or Canada, they will be the same value as long as they have something to provide. Today, this is not true yet, but in 30 something years time, it's going to be obvious. And I think we're just the beginning. We are building the fabric of this thing to happen right now.
Yeah. How are you? I saw some of your videos on LinkedIn, and you have this digital space where you are with your avatar. Honestly, I didn't watch the whole show, but can you describe a little bit? So, do you have an avatar and you're meeting somebody in your digital space, or how do you use the
I have
metaverse?
several avatars. This is an avatar.
Okay.
I mean, this video is an avatar already, right? I mean, but maybe one of the that you referred most is that I work a lot on VR, and I have some clients working with me from all over the world, where they want to really be in a space that is more productive, and they want to adapt their learning and working environments to a new space. So we experiment in a virtual space. So I have, for that matter, I have my avatar where I work. And I honestly, if you ever work on a VR space and you are immersed, after 5 minutes, the idea of an avatar is gone. You just stay with the people, with the person, with the human behind it. But then if you go to other spaces, like I use a lot of experience. I personally, I'm very big supporter of VR, because I think it really expands one's ability to do things that our mind, if you can control our mind, and then we can use technology to explore this power of creation that we have, I think VR is unique. So in this case, I have other avatars for specific activities or experiences. So that's how I work. And another thing that I do, and maybe I don't publish much about it, but I'm a very big supporter of fitness on VR too. I think this is something that it's great. I mean, I see so many people with poor exercising diets, and that they could improve so much their lives by doing like 10 minutes a day in a very fun, immersive environment. No matter the age, no matter their physical condition, everybody could benefit from this. So it's I was giving an interview to Yahoo Finance the other day, and I think this is the ultimate equalizer in many ways. That people like I have an employee. He's disabled. He just can move his head and his hands. He's on a wheelchair 24/7. Well, it's not the one that he's sleeping. But it doesn't matter, because when he's working with me on our office, whatever physical advantage I have, I don't have there. Whatever physical disadvantage he has, he doesn't have there either. So we are equal. So the only thing that stays there is our ability to work, to perform. And I think that's the beauty of the avatar, whatever that is that if you pass through these artistic rendering that a lot of critical people say, oh, this is cartoonish. Well, I don't care. I mean, in the future, it's going to be pretty much like us. It doesn't matter. if you pass through this gate, you just stay with the human behind it. It's like you and I right now. We are the humans behind the cameras or the videos that we are. So that's the thing that matters. And I think that's the thing that I'm a big supporter. I know we're still early. I think it's day one. But I feel that some people, and maybe some of these 5 people may be watching now, or 5,000 people watching now. Eventually they'll get it.
Yeah, definitely. Interesting point. When you say we are virtual reality, do you have also your lenses that you
yes
put?
I happen to have one.
Cool. Yeah, can you show it?
Yes, I can show. And actually I like to show this usually with something else. So this is my gear. But it's it's just for now it's bulky. I don't care. I mean, I'm gonna be using the thing that is best at the moment that it is. So if now we're using an iPhone, if I'm using this specifically, this is a Quest 2 hardware, Oculus. But I don't see this any different than, I'm going to show you something else. I don't see this as different as this thing here, which is a Neolithic arrow that is 9,000 years old. And this is a tool from your and my ancestors that used to they created out of stone, they created this to hunt, to feed their families, to feed their tribes. So the difference between this and this to me is zero. Thing is, our ancestors used to do this 9,000 years ago because that's what they needed. And now we can use this type of thing because we are in a time and a space where we have this, and 1,000 years from now, who knows what I'm going to be using, what our descendants will be using, right? But we're planting the seeds. So right now, I like to say this because not to undervalue what is this, but to me, this is just a piece of technology.
It's a tool.
It's a tool. Exactly. It's a tool. It's the same tool as this.
Yes. To help your daily life.
For our ancestors, they used to do this as a tool to hunt, and it made them better humans. Because if I can kill 5 rabbits and feed my entire family just very quickly instead of just going around, I'm a better human, right? I can survive, and I can make my tribe survive. So what are the tools that we're using now? Right now, you and I, we're on a video, we're on the internet. So this is a super powerful tool. People from anywhere. Think about this, Jakob. People from anywhere in the world can be watching this right now, as long as they have a connection to the internet. 20 years ago, man, if you had cable TV, you were kind of the elite of humanity. Most people didn't ever have access, and it's still like if you go to places like Brazil, 50% of the population still don't have access to basic sanitation. So we're living in this super unequal world, and we forget how blessed we are by having these tools right now and using this. So I think it's not a responsibility, but I think some of us already understood that you can be a superhuman by using whatever you have right now, and the power of technology and what Web3, the metaverse, will be if it's properly used. It's unlimited. The power of bringing ancient civilizations to this place, or using to create new artifacts, new machines. It's Da Vinci would be using this if he was alive today. I mean, all these Renaissance people, they would be amazed because in the past you need to use brushes to paint. Now we have this. Now we have code. A person who can code well, it's an art. It's closer. Coding is closer to art than to math if it used proper.
Interesting. Like it. It's like it feels like more like a philosophical discussion here. Not a discussion, but I'm just listening. But I like what I hear, and I'm very sure that people from the Renaissance, they would be really excited about the stuff that they could find these days, and yeah, would use it in a proper way. Yeah, I think so too. Yes, that's cool. I like it.
Of course, there'll always be, because I think we're right now. I mean, again, we are recording this beginning of 2022. There is a lot of confusion. There is a lot of speculation. There is a lot of people, trying to make money out of air. Okay, I mean that's part of Wild West. Has always happened. I'm not saying this is a bad thing or a good thing. I'm just saying that that's not the ultimate thing, because the ultimate in the end is the capacity for you to create value, and create value is solving your problems and someone else's problems. So if you have 24 hours in a day, and that's everybody has 24 hours in a day. Elon Musk has 24 hours in a day. We have 24 hours in a day. It doesn't matter. I don't care about the status of the people watching this or not. We all have 24 hours a day. Using this in a, I'm not saying productive or efficient way from a making money perspective, but using this to expand yourself, to be a better human, but not anxious human, because not optimizing yourself all the time. I think we exchange a couple of messages like this, right? Having this perspective of, when you put your kids to sleep, in their bed, and then you have this great thinking, or you just see this child and having this presence. This is being superhuman. Having this mental tranquility, dominate your mind, and not being anxious about the next tweet or the next feed or the next thing that you're gonna think about. Your inbox now, it's multiplied by 10 than it was 3 years ago, and it did nothing, because we are creating more, and people are not just stopping and say, look, what is the content that must be created? What is the value that must be created? And I think if you really concentrate on that and use the power of technology, that's fantastic. That's so everybody can be a Leonardo da Vinci for the first time in history. Will they? No, because their minds control them. Then the technology will control the mind, and then algorithms created by other people will control the technology. So eventually, we are going to be running according to some AI that someone created, that it was not intentional. I think people, I'm sorry to expand too much on this, Jakob, but I think this is important. People criticize, AI and the metaverse, and this is stupid, because this is just technology. This is just a tool. How was this used 9,000 years ago? Was it used to hunt? Was it used to kill someone? I don't know. But the tool is a tool. It's just a tool. Technology is a tool. AI is a tool. But how are we going to use it? It depends on how connected to truth and value, and your ideas of creating the value to improve yourself first and foremost. And then by improving yourself, other people can get inspired and improve themselves too. So I think what I think it's dangerous is when I see humans copying technology. I was talking to my kids are playing chess, and I was talking to one of the teachers, and he said, what caught me attention the other day is that for the first time, the guy that won, he did a movement, the first opening, that was never seen. It was just seen done by a machine. So it was a guy copying an AI movement for the first time. So if humans are copying technology, we better be improving technology or controlling it by ourselves. I'm not afraid of it. I'm super excited about it. I feel I'm a technologist at heart, but I know how to use it and be conscious about it. I think that's what makes it better. And then if you're talking about Web3 and the metaverse, if we really know how to use it, we can be superhumans. by not adding stress levels, by not being more anxious, by being more connected. Like you and I, we're connected, human to human.
Yeah. So what advice would you give to somebody who has no idea about this area and who's starting out? What are little steps, baby steps that they can do in order to try a little bit of this whole Web3 world, but they are not sure how to do it? What advice would you share?
I don't like to prescribe or give much advice because I think each one has its own journey. But the only thing I would say is this thing is human. Technology is, again, I go back to this previous point. It's a human thing. So if you go for the experience of it, if you just want to experience the wonder of technology and then find other people that are at the same time, then you're gonna little by little start to understand what this technology means to you. And by knowing that, you're not gonna be copying the next guy. You're gonna be using that way for yourself. So, everybody's on the Decentraland. Okay, what is the Decentraland for you? I want to have my land on the other side of Snoopy Dogg. Okay, but why? Do you know? Are you a fan of Snoopy Dogg? Do you hear to this guy? Do you like hip hop in the first place, man? Or rap? Because I do. Like, I'm a big hip hop fan, but particularly I don't like much Snoop Dogg, not some of his songs. So does that matter to you? Yes, it does. So go full force, man. No, it doesn't. Okay. So why are you joining? And I'll give an example again because we were talking about this. When Nike launched the Nike Land on Roblox, I think. Mm-hmm. I remember that it's like a few hours after they launched, I just tested it just to take a look. And the minute I entered the space, I was cursed. People start to curse me. Just out of the blue, just say, yeah, I'm not gonna say bad words here in the program, but and I'm just exploring this space because I don't know if there were kids there, but so what does that mean? Even for brands, I'm asked sometimes by my clients, should I join this space? I say, my question goes back to the same question as well. Why are you joining? Why do you want to join? I was testing, I was visiting the Samsung store in Decentraland, and it was. I'm sorry, but it was disgraceful. People, like the avatars running all over. Say, why are you running, man? There's an avatar here in the middle of a store. Imagine that situation for a moment. That you go to a shopping mall and then you go to an actual physical Samsung store, and people are just running in the store. You would call security in 5 minutes. Yeah. But then in that space, because it's digital, people behave like this. And then there was these videos, and then there was this bot. I'm not criticizing Samsung, but I think Samsung, if you guys are hearing this, you can do a better job for sure, because that eventually is going to hurt your brand and the experience of it, because it's about the experience. If I want to experience this brand or these products in this digital format, come on, we can do so much better. I mean, of course, if you're in a place like this, it's obvious, because then you have spatial sound and you have visuals, etc. But even though most of the experiences in VR are lousy compared to what it can be, so that's why I'm trying to curate the best experience, even if it's the simplest experience. Yeah. And it doesn't mean it doesn't have to be high tech. Mm. So not advice. I don't want to give an advice, but what I would say for people if they want to get inspired by this, is that why are you joining? Why are you doing what you're doing in the first place? For you, for yourself, personally. Oh, I like to cook. Okay. So you follow these 3 YouTube channels, and then I found out that in this space there is something about cooking. Fantastic. So explore that cooking thing in that new environment, and then find out, and I'm not prescribing, but find out how does that relate to you, and how you can contribute to that, and how that can contribute. And then it's a spiral that is positive. Then if you're going to sell, if you're going to buy low and sell high, if you're going to launch an NFT or not, it's less relevant. because it's not about it. You don't have this FOMO, this fear of missing out all the time. Because then eventually I see a lot of people super stressed out, super anxious, and I need to join. I need to join. Whoa, bro. What do you like to do? What are you good at? And then guess what? Most people don't even have the time to really ponder on that question. I don't know. I just don't know. And that's the disgrace, Jakob. That is the ultimate disgrace.
So what I'm taking out of this conversation is that the basic question is, so what is your motivation? Why are you want to join in this new world? What is your main purpose? And what do you want to do? Not only in the physical world, but also in the virtual world. And how can you do this in the virtual world also? So the roots are coming back. So the old school question: what makes you happy? Basically, what do you like to do, and how can you transfer this into Web3? This is something that I
exactly, and
okay.
And I think if you think about this, using the concept of Web3, metaverse, is like, it's not that, oh, I have my physical life, I have my digital life. No, now, really, truly, you can have a hybrid life, because we already have, like, this very conversation we are having is hybrid, because I'm physically speaking here, wherever I am, you too, whatever you are, but we are the product we are creating together. We are creating in this metaverse, in this space, in the internet. So this is a hybrid product that you and I are creating right now. And if you start to think like this, that everything we do, we have this hybrid approach, because you are, and it's not like, oh, I have my Facebook account, my Instagram account, okay, this is just an account. This is a way of expressing. But if you start to having all these layers of your digital presence with all the layers of your physical presence, and you start to just put this together in a cohesive way, if that starts to make sense, if you are now, it's like you are cooking. Again, go back to the basics example, the basics. You are cooking, and then you use some AR glasses that helps you to find the recipe, and then you have this avatar of this great chef helping you here, and then you take it off, and then you go to your kids, and then you watch your phone. Oh, guys, it's time to go there, and then you come back, then you check your phone, then I have a call, then I have a digital call, then I have to pick up my car to go to somewhere else, but then the e-commerce arrives in my home, and then if you start to think about that, how everything is already connected, but you find this as a flow, and you don't feel disrupted, like you and I, like we are 100% digital right now. And then when you disconnect, you're going to do something else that is physical. Then I go to my VR glass, and I feel that it's natural to me. I don't feel that, oh, I'm going to have a video call with Jakob, and that's a special. No, it's not special. Because a video call is because we can use a video call. 20 years ago, it would be a call. 40 years ago, 50 years ago, it would be a letter. So if you transition naturally, and this is the mindset, Jakob, to me, the Web3, the metaverse, is less about the technology, and it's more about the mindset, that using a digital asset, or being yourself a digital asset, and using this to enhance your life in many ways, that is what it's all about. And if you think about, and we're talking about starting the rec button here before, a lot of people are pushing back to go back to pre-COVID, a pre-COVID world, where to have a meeting, you have to set up a room in a hotel. Everybody has to travel. Everybody has to be there. If you're a father, if you're a mother, you leave your kids for 2 days to join a business meeting where you're going to exchange emails with some strangers. No, I'm not judging that, but I'm saying you can do better than this. And for the first time, we have so many tools that you can join that meeting, but then you can go back, then you can go pick up your kids at school or do something else, then you can cook, then you can be all these layers of human that you are.
Yes.
That you're not just the professional. Because that's the thing. Up to now, people say, no, I'm a professional. What does that mean? It does mean that you don't cook, You don't care about your kids. You don't exercise. No, because I'm a professional. And if you are a cook, no, I'm a cook. I just cook. So you cannot have a business meeting. You cannot have. So all these layers are broken if you know how to use. If you have this mindset of really hybrid, a real metaverse that I like to say.
Yeah, love it. So we're running a little bit out of time. Can we speak a little bit about Metaventures? So what was the main motivation to start? So how old is it, and what was the main motivation? So your why, Igor?
Yes, no, as I said, I mean, it was a natural step for me. I've always been working with technology. I always worked with technology from angles like from IoT, cybersecurity, and communities. So I kind of put everything together last year, 2021, and basically it's a mix. I don't like. It's not an advisory consultancy. It is not a platform business, but it's more kind of a mix of what I think kind of the future of services will be is this. I like to consider myself a curator. I curate experiences. I curate people. I curate projects that make sense in this new world, in this metaverse, let's say. And then if it comes from an artist, if it comes from an entrepreneur, if it comes from a technologist, from a doctor, from a cook, I don't care. I don't see it. It's not like the venture capital type of thing or the McKinsey type of thing that you just need this very straightforward definition. So I prefer to call this as a mix of a McKinsey, Sequoia, and Motown Records. And I prefer the Motown Records that used to they discovered the best funky and hip hop and they discovered Michael Jackson, man, back at the 60s and the 70s. So it's kind of this approach of really person by person, project by project, curating the best experiences that are going to make sense in the metaverse, coming from whatever angle it comes. Could come from VR, could come from the digital asset space, it could come from just artistic. So I think we are trying to make sense. So I'm mixing it up and supporting businesses and corporations that want to grow and do businesses in this new space. So some of my clients are traditional corporates that just want to explore and grow, but with their feet well grounded. So not joining for the hype, but if it's creating value for them and making them creating better and new opportunities for them in this metaverse without joining the hype.
Okay. Yeah, that's a very important point, I think. So there's a lot of hype, and I'm getting also these comments. Well, this will go over and things like that. And so the natural question to me would be, so how? And but basically it comes back to the why. But can you maybe give an example? You don't have to mention client names, but how a small project or how to add value on the metaverse?
No, I'll give it perfect. I'll give an example. One of my clients, it's a global corporation. They want to. They have in one specific country 30,000 employees, and they want to improve their learning experience for these people. Okay. And they are widespread all over this country. And by using something like this, we are going to be able to recreate a learning environment where people are going to join and concentrate in such a way that the course or the education that they're going to have is going to be so much effective that even if in the past you need 4 hours to deliver that content, in this space you're going to need an hour, and people are going to feel connected, and they're going to have an ability to join their colleagues and then just move on to the next thing. So this is one of the examples that we're doing. The other one goes to another, and that's an educational sector, but using blockchain, talking about we're using basic certification, using private blockchains, not even Ethereum, we're just using basic private blockchain to certify diplomas, so people can have their ability to just go wherever country they want to go, and then just show that what they did in this official university, it's proven it's there. So they don't have to keep certifying themselves. They don't have to homologate themselves. It's the real power of blockchain to ease their lives. So these are two examples that I like to cite, that things that are doing it. Other things in the pipeline that I'm going to publish soon.
Yeah, cool. So maybe we should do a follow-up and speak about these cases, because that's always what people are asking. Okay, can you give examples, use cases? And I mean, in the media, there's always this hype thing. You mentioned Snoop Dogg. He launched this NFT collection. Snoop Dogg launched his own, and these things are in the media. But I think that when you look on use cases and business cases that are not by celebrities, then for many people it makes much more sense, because they feel more connected when a traditional business or traditional corporation is doing a project on the metaverse.
Yeah, no, I'll give you another example. In the digital asset space, that we have a client, and they were like, okay, we want to launch, again, using blockchain or to launch something in the metaverse. And then again, we are in the process of discussing specifically how we're going to do this. But again, why are going to do this? Is for a technology, operations technology, information technology point of view, or it's from a branding perspective. And I don't care. Both are valid. No, and they were very clear. I said, no, look, at the moment, a database would solve our problem from a technology perspective, but from a marketing perspective, we want to make the point that we want to be in this space just to test it out. Fantastic. Okay, that's a fair business. That's a fair statement. So you're not using you're not squaring the circle because you want to restructure entire IT system because of this, because it's not that simple to implement blockchain if you're not ready to have a mindset for that. But if you are using that specifically, which is the case we're discussing with this client, just to position and to use maybe as a loyalty card, because you're going to create a micro community around your store, in the case it's an e-commerce. Fantastic. Let's explore this. Let's track this person through their digital assets throughout the value chain, and then you can offer more value for them. And I agree. I think it's important to give these small cases, but I'm not saying that people shouldn't read the news, but most of it gets distorted because people just see the big numbers, and then I was giving a talk the other day, the business school. Well, not me, or my avatar was giving a talk, and to 150 people that were in a room, and I was calling from my virtual office. And then someone asked, how do you recommend, or what's your recommendation about real estate in the metaverse? And then I had a building besides me in my virtual office. I said, would you buy that building for $1 million? And the person said, no. I said, why not? Oh, because it looks like a Sims type of thing. I said, but why do you care? No, but if I'm sure that I can resell it for more than $1 million. So you're speculating. Right? Yes. Okay. But it all gets confused, and people talk so much about it, but then the big transformation still, I think the best is yet to come.
Yeah.
In value creation.
Yeah. So that was the word that I want to say, value. It basically comes back. So what is the value that you want to deliver, and not for you, but for your clients and the people that are coming into your world. So that's basically what you should focus on. I mean, yes, and in this online keynote that I gave last week, I asked, okay, who would buy this board app yacht NFT? And one said, yeah, I would buy it. I think it's ugly, but I would resell it for a higher price. And I said, okay, that's fair enough. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. And many people are doing this, but don't buy art in order to resell it but I would rather buy art because I like it. And
exactly, but
Yeah.
you know, I don't judge. I mean
Yeah,
but
yeah, that's
again,
okay.
but
Yeah, me
but
too.
the
Yeah.
thing is, if most artists are just going to create art because they want to resell it, which is fine, because Da Vinci used to sell it. All these Renaissance people, all from they sold a lot. Like even more recently, Dali or Picasso, they had a business running.
Yeah.
It's okay, it's fair. But if we lose this sense of discovery, of true concentration, of writing this piece because you have to put it out, because you're painting this painting because you have to express yourself
Yeah.
In such a way, that's what's value.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
And the thing that I see the most about the metaverse is that my why is really to not to help, but to at least inspire people and businesses that they can enhance and be super productive and super powerful doing less, but doing less more focused. I follow this Italian sociologist for over the last 20 years, Domenico De Masi, and he's been talking, look, there is no way everybody can work 40 hours a week. Because if everybody's working and you're going to have more people, there won't be work for everybody. So it's better if everybody works like 10, 15, 20 hours a week. Then we all have, and it's not communism or socialism, but it's if we have a super productive cohort, then people can have their time free for other stuff. I think that's the ultimate dream, and I think if corporations embrace this, if professionals embrace it, but for that to happen, you have to be very productive. It's not about I don't want to. I want to work 10 hours a day, 10 hours a week from my laptop at the beach. No, it's like you're going to be very, very productive, very powerful. But then you're going to freeze, and the value you're creating is going to be huge, and it's going to compensate more than 40 hours a week that are going to be working.
Yeah, got it. Love it. So many things that are related to my own mindset and how I approach things. So I'm very sure there will be a follow up with you, Igor. So one last question. So there are many people out there, and I want to interview more people within this space. Who would you recommend for this kind of live show? A CEO, a founder, an investor, a creator, an entrepreneur within the Web3 space. Is there somebody in mind that you would recommend?
No, I don't have anyone in particular, but I've been talking to many interesting people that are not necessarily in the metaverse, but they are super contributors, the potential super contributor. Like I'd love to hear more about, from teachers, elementary school teachers, artists, professionals outside of the business spectrum that are content creators, that are experience creators, that are going to benefit all of us and themselves by joining this hybrid space and bringing their content. And I'm talking even people from older generations that can contribute and bring this amazing content that they have into this new way. I'll give an example. I'm an old-time practitioner of origami. Origami is this art of folding papers, and I have a master. She's a professor. She's from São Paulo, Brazil, and been doing this for the last 40 years. She has such an amount of content and knowledge about this. If you could bring her to this metaverse, that would be fantastic. And how many people you have around? I'm just saying that not just the people in this space that are early adopters, but also maybe the potential late adopters that are going to be contributors. So, and then we can find some names, and I can help you out to identify some people.
Would be awesome. Would appreciate it. But I think so. This idea of content that you can also give to other spaces, this will grow within the metaverse, I think. So in the last days and last years, it was YouTube where you do your origami but now it can be your digital avatar who's doing 24/7 the origami, and people can just watch it. So
And
there are
then
many
they can watch,
possibilities.
but then I can have the origami, and then you can enter the origami with your VR, and then experience that, and then you can bring your kids, and
Yeah.
then you can show. I know this.
Yeah.
This. I mean, still, we are in 2022. By 2042, if we're still around, which is something that people take for granted, and they don't, they shouldn't. I think they'll be massive. And if I can give a final kind of a message, Jakub, is that time is very short. I mean, it's not, we're, even if we're going to live 100 years, there is no time to waste. And technology is here to help us, not to make us more anxious. Technology should improve our lives, not enslave us. So if you let yourself enslave if you get it, if technology is enslaving you, you're doing something wrong with your life. So technology is to free you.
Yes.
I think it's a reflection for all of us to not be burned out by this.
Yeah, love it. Really, that's very. So I have to reflect this conversation.
I think we all, right? And if you think about the kids, you are a father, I'm a father. And if you think about the relationship that our kids will have with technology and have already and will have in the future, not only with content. I mean, to be honest, Jakub, I'm building this for my kids, not for my kids, but I want to make sure that I know there will be a lot of trash in the world. So I want to make sure that at least there will be an alternative to the trash, that there will be some content, there will be some great things happening that my kids can actually relate to. And if they don't want to join the trash, they'll have this high lane of other great stuff. And if some of us join this movement of creating good stuff, there will be this alternative, because rest assured, most people we join the trash, but that's okay. There will be space for everybody, right? You have junk food, you have great food. You decide. It's a choice.
Exactly. Love it. Okay, let's create good stuff. Okay, I'm on your side, Igor. Awesome. So really, thank you for your time. It was a great honor to speak with you and ask the questions. I really have to reflect on this conversation. And I'm very sure there will be a follow-up, and very excited to speak hopefully soon again with you. And to all listeners, if you have any questions, just let us know in the chat. I will forward to Igor. Okay, that's it for today.
Thank you.
And see you on the next episode. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.